Hello there, welcome to Finance Teacher. In the previous 3 videos of our 4-part series on dual currency deposits or dual currency investments, we discussed the standard DCD DCI product, covering the basics, features, risks and benefits, and the payoff scenarios. Since DCDs are structured products, many variations may be created. In this video, the part 4 of the final part in the series, we discuss a couple of structural variations. Let's get going. We'll first discuss the knockout dual currency investment, also known as the disappearing DCI. A knockout DCI is similar to a standard DCI, but it has a knockout feature. If the spot price touches the knockout barrier, the put option on the alternate currency sold by the investor to the issuer gets terminated or disappears. Therefore, the issuer no longer has the right to convert the maturity amount into the alternate currency. At that point onwards, during the term of the DCI, the investor does not face the risk of receiving the maturity amount in the alternate currency. Even if the spot price is way beyond the conversion price, the investor will still get the maturity amount in the investment currency. Therefore, he will surely get the maximum promised yield, which is the yield promised by the issuer at the outset. This is obviously beneficial for the investor. Therefore, the yield of a disappearing DCI is lower than that of a comparable standard DCI. Of course, if the KO barrier is never touched till maturity, the put option remains in play and the issuer retains the discretion to choose the currency of repayment at maturity. In such a scenario, the mechanics of the standard DCI products apply, as we have discussed in the previous videos. Let's consider an example to understand the disappearing DCI. Let's take the example of the currency pair Euro-USD. The investment is USD 1 million. The second currency is the investment currency. The conversion price or the strike price is 1.03, which is below the initial spot of 1.06. The disappearing DCI has a KO barrier or a knockout barrier at 1.09, which is above the initial spot price. The maturity is 1 month or 30 days. The yield is 12%. If the spot exchange rate remains below 1.09 during the 30 days term, and the spot exchange rate at maturity is at or above 1.03, the investor will receive the maturity amount in US dollars, which is the investment currency. That is, the product will behave just like a standard dual currency investment. If the spot rate remains below 1.09 during the 30 days, but it is below 1.03 on the maturity date, the investor will receive the maturity amount in euro, the alternate currency. That is, the product will behave just like a standard DCI. However, if on any day during the 30-day period, the spot rate touches 1.09, the investor will receive the maturity amount in USD, which is the investment currency, irrespective of where the spot rate is at maturity. In such a scenario, the product is akin to a standard deposit as far as the maturity amount is concerned. As evident in a disappearing DCI, the KO barrier is on the opposite side of the spot as compared to the conversion price. That is, the conversion price is below the spot for Euro-USD with USD as the investment currency, and the KO barrier is above the spot. The closer the KO level to the spot, the more likely is the KO, or the more beneficial the product is for the KO as compared to a similar standard DCI, and hence the lower the yield for the investor, and vice versa. For example, if the KO barrier is set at 1.20, it is meaningless for the investor as the barrier will never be touched. This means that the KO event is unlikely to benefit the investor unless there is some major event. Therefore, the yield of such a disappearing DCI will be similar to that of a standard DCI. Also, the impact of volatility on a disappearing DCI is different from the volatility's impact on a standard DCI. The standard DCI investor can never decisively gain from the volatility because the volatility will always pose a risk of conversion, and it will never lead to a legal certainty that there will be no conversion. On the other hand, a KO DCI can possibly become a standard deposit-like product if the volatility knocks out the issuer's right to convert. Let's look at another variation, the knock-in DCI or the kick-in DCI, also referred to as the appearing dual currency investment. As the name suggests, if the DCI is not knocked in or brought to life, the product is like a simple deposit where the issuer guarantees to pay the interest on the deposit and repay the principal both in the investment currency at maturity. That is, if the KI barrier is never touched during the life of the product is like a simple deposit, irrespective of whether the spot price on maturity is below or above the conversion price. On the other hand, if the KI barrier is touched at any time during the life of the appearing DCI, the dormant DCI wakes up and becomes effective. Thereafter, the product becomes a standard dual currency investment. We have already discussed the details of how standard DCIs work in the previous videos. The KI barrier is at the same side of the spot as the conversion price. Let us take an example to understand this. We stick with the Euro USD currency pair. The investment currency is USD, investment amount being USD 1 million. USD is the second currency in the quote. The KO barrier is 1.01. The conversion price or the strike price is 1.03 and the initial spot price is 1.06. That is, both the KO barrier and the conversion price are below the spot price. The maturity is 1 month and the yield is 12%. If during the 30 days term the spot exchange rate stays above the KI barrier of 1.01, the investor will get the principal plus the interest in the investment currency USD, like in a simple deposit. If the spot rate touches the KI barrier 1.01, the product becomes a standard DCI. That is, if on the maturity date the spot rate is beyond the conversion price, the investor will get the maturity amount in the alternate currency, else he will get the maturity amount in the investment currency. Here, volatility is not such a good friend of the investor as the knock-in makes the product riskier. Hence, the yield of a KI DCI should be higher than that of a comparable knockout DCI or a disappearing DCI. Here we end our 4-part series on DCDs, DCIs. We hope you have understood various aspects of dual currency deposits. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel Finance Teacher to support us. Press the bell icon for notification. If you want videos on specific finance topics or you have any specific questions, please write us an email at wiseatfinance@gmail.com or write in the comment section below. Thanks for watching and happy learning.